have you ever felt like you and your partner are speaking different languages? You bring them a thoughtful gift, but they seem more excited about you doing the dishes. Or maybe you crave a long, meaningful conversation, but they just want a hug. This feeling of being misunderstood is at the heart of one of the most popular relationship concepts of the last few decades, the 5 love languages. Introduced by Dr. Gary Chapman in his 1992 book, this framework suggests that we all express and receive love in 5 primary ways: words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. According to Chapman, discovering your own and your partner's primary love language is the key to a lasting, fulfilling relationship. It's a beautifully simple idea, and it has sold millions of copies, spawning countless workshops, quizzes, and even a whole industry of relationship advice. The appeal is obvious. It offers a straightforward diagnostic tool and a clear set of instructions for a complex problem: how to make someone feel loved. But in the world of psychology and relationship science, simplicity can sometimes be a red flag. Does this immensely popular framework actually stand on solid scientific ground, or is it just a well-marketed piece of pop psychology? Let's take a closer look at whether the 5 love languages are truly a psychological breakthrough or closer to pseudoscience. To begin, we need to acknowledge what the 5 love languages gets right. It brilliantly highlights the fact that people have different preferences and needs within a relationship. The core message, that you should be mindful of your partner's unique desires instead of just assuming they want what you want, is incredibly valuable. It encourages empathy and a shift in perspective. The framework prompts you to ask, what makes my partner feel cherished, instead of just, how do I like to show love? This alone can be a game changer for couples who are stuck in a rut, feeling unappreciated despite their best efforts. For many, taking the love languages quiz is the first time they've ever had a structured conversation about their emotional needs. It provides a common vocabulary to discuss what can often be vague, hard to articulate feelings. A partner can say, "I need more quality time," which is far more constructive than a frustrated, "You never pay attention to me." So, in promoting communication and thoughtful consideration, the 5 love languages certainly has merit. It serves as an excellent starting point for couples to become more intentional about how they care for one another. The problem arises when we treat it not as a starting point, but as a rigid, scientific law. One of the biggest criticisms from the scientific community is the lack of empirical evidence supporting the existence of exactly 5 distinct love languages. Chapman, a Baptist pastor with a background in anthropology, developed his categories based on anecdotal evidence from his years of marriage counseling. While his observations were insightful, they weren't derived from rigorous, controlled scientific studies. When researchers have tried to test the framework, the results have been mixed at best. Studies using statistical analysis to see if people's preferences really cluster into these 5 neat categories have often failed to replicate Chapman's model. Some research suggests there might be more or fewer languages, or that they overlap so much they can't really be considered separate. For example, can you really separate an act of service, like preparing a special meal, from the quality time spent enjoying it together? Is a thoughtfully chosen gift not also a word of affirmation, saying, "I was thinking of you and I know what you like"? The lines are blurry, and human emotion is far more complex than 5 simple buckets. Another major issue is the idea that we each have a primary love language. The theory posits that one language speaks to us more deeply than all the others. The popular online quiz reinforces this by ranking the languages from most to least important for you. However, research suggests this isn't how it works. Most people appreciate all 5 forms of affection. Would anyone in a healthy relationship truly say, "No thanks, I don't need any words of affirmation, just keep doing the chores"? It's highly unlikely. We are not one-dimensional beings who only respond to a single type of input. A more accurate model might be that we need a balanced diet of all 5. While we might have a slight preference for 1 or 2, just as we might prefer certain foods, a healthy relationship requires nourishment from all categories. Focusing too heavily on just one primary language could lead to neglecting other crucial aspects of emotional connection. Imagine a relationship where one person's primary language is physical touch, and the other's is acts of service. According to a strict interpretation of the theory, as long as they are meeting that one specific need, things should be fine. But what if the physical touch person never says "I love you" or "I'm proud of you"? The lack of verbal reassurance could easily create insecurity and distance, no matter how many hugs are given. This leads to another significant critique. The framework can be used as a tool for transactionalism, turning love into a "you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours" exchange. It can foster a mindset of, "I performed an act of service for you, so now you owe me quality time." Love, in its healthiest form, is not a transaction. It's about giving generously without keeping a running tally of who did what. The 5 love languages, when misapplied, can inadvertently encourage a quid pro quo dynamic where affection becomes a currency to be traded, rather than a gift to be freely given. This can create pressure and resentment. If your partner's love language is receiving gifts, you might feel a constant burden to be shopping and spending money. If theirs is acts of service, you might feel like your worth is tied to how many chores you complete, turning your home life into a performance review. This is a far cry from the spontaneous, authentic connection we all seek. Furthermore, the model doesn't account for the vast cultural and individual differences in how love is expressed. The 5 categories are rooted in a very specific, Western cultural context. In many other cultures, for instance, acts of service and providing for the family are considered the ultimate expressions of love, far outweighing verbal affirmations or overt physical affection. The framework also fails to address the darker side of relationships. It offers no guidance for dealing with conflict resolution, power imbalances, or unhealthy attachment styles. It assumes a baseline of 2 well-intentioned people who simply need to communicate better. Unfortunately, relationship problems are often much deeper than a simple mismatch of love languages. Telling someone in a manipulative or controlling relationship to simply speak their partner's language is not just unhelpful, it's potentially harmful. So, where does that leave us? Are we supposed to discard the 5 love languages entirely? Not necessarily. The most balanced approach is to view it as a helpful metaphor, not a scientific diagnosis. Think of it as a set of training wheels for emotional communication. It gets you started, helps you find your balance, and provides a safe way to practice. But eventually, for your relationship to truly thrive and grow, you need to take the training wheels off. The true goal isn't to become a fluent speaker of one specific language, but to become a better, more attentive, and more versatile communicator of love in all its forms. The real skill is not in identifying a single primary language, but in learning to be responsive to your partner's needs in the moment. Sometimes your partner might need a hug. Other times, they might need to hear that you believe in them. On a particularly stressful day, they might just need you to handle dinner so they can have a moment to themselves. Healthy love is about being adaptable and attuned to these shifting needs, not just repeatedly pressing the one button you think is their favorite. So, is the 5 love languages psychology or pseudoscience? The answer is somewhere in between. It lacks the scientific rigor to be called a formal psychological theory, placing it firmly in the category of pop psychology. However, unlike much pseudoscience, its underlying message, to be more thoughtful and empathetic towards your partner, is genuinely positive. The danger lies in its rigidity. If you treat it as gospel, you risk oversimplifying your partner and your relationship, potentially creating more problems than you solve. Instead of asking, "What is my partner's love language?" a better question might be, "What does my partner need from me today to feel seen, valued, and loved?" The answer to that question won't always fit neatly into one of 5 boxes. And that's the beautiful, complex reality of love. If you found this exploration interesting and want to learn more about the science behind relationships and human connection, be sure to subscribe to our channel, Sex Education Repo, for more deep dives into the topics that matter most.